First of all, I want to thank everybody who have come out today. This is a great day, a beautiful day, as we begin to work towards the school property tax elimination. Arlo, if you're listening, you're going to have to accept, my apologies for paraphrasing. But what if one person, just one person, started talking about property tax? They might think he's a little strange. And if two people started talking about property tax, they might think that they're weird. But if three people went out and started talking about property tax, they might think it's an organization. But if 50 people went out and started talking about property tax independence, they might think it's a movement. But we have more than 50 people here, and we have something to say, and that's that no tax should have the power to leave you homeless. Can I hear that? Right on. We're here about a principle, and the principle is a long-established principle that formed this nation. It began with a man named John Locke, who said that the reason men entered into societies in the first place was for the mutual protection of their property. He went on to say that the reason they formed governments was for that protection of property. Our founders believed that enough that in the Declaration of Independence, it says that just governments derive their powers from the consent of the governed. I consider it an honor and a privilege to have worked with the grassroots efforts and with these legislators, and we have crossed party lines, we have crossed political ideologies to come together on a simple principle, the principle of property ownership. Our founders believed that property ownership was to be treated as a sacred institute. Our founders, what formed this nation as a government, said that our legislators, their prime responsibility was to protect the property of the people. We have sponsoring legislators on this who apparently agree with us on that, and for that, we extend our highest and utmost thanks. One of the gentlemen who has been a bulldog on this, has been out in front on pushing this from a legislative point of view, is Representative Calder-Jerome. And with that, I would like to give him the microphone.
Thank you. Thank you. I welcome you to the state capitol. Taxpayers, this is your house, your capital. I'm proud to stand here as one of the forces working with you to eliminate property taxes. I commend you for your efforts, and I urge you to continue this fight. We must eliminate this burden and this tax on our seniors, our families, and our children. Over this summer, I was able to secure well over 30 additional co-sponsors on a bipartisan way. I've been working with members on both sides of the aisle in a spirit of civility and compromise. You didn't see any puff pieces from me in a newsletter. I walked the walk and talked the talk and delivered for the taxpayers of this Commonwealth and the people of Pennsylvania what I think is a fair and just piece of legislation. And now we're here on the cusp of history, this history that we're writing today. But we need to be patriots with our words and deeds. Let us forego the egos and bring life-changing property tax elimination to the people of Pennsylvania by working together. I urge my fellow legislators to not just dip your toes into this issue, but to put yourself completely immersed in the good of the people. We're trying to protect our homes. It's time to rid Pennsylvania of the burden of this property tax. And let me just say, I'm all in. I did the job that the people expected me to do as an individual, and I'm only one of many. We've got many, many representatives and senators here that have stuck their neck out on this issue. Now it's time for the House and Senate to move this legislation and restore the hope that's the American dream. I want to thank you all for your efforts and most of all for your support, the senators, the House members, all of you taxpayers. God bless you, God bless Pennsylvania, and God bless the United States. Thank you.
Gonna hold my hand?
Yep. Every movement needs their own Sam Adams. This is our Sam Adams. But he's not only our Sam Adams, he's our Paul Revere. This guy has gone more places in this state than I knew even existed. We had the opportunity, Sue and I had the opportunity to be at one place he wasn't at yet, called Apple Boxville. Remarkable little town, very small town, and 50 people came out, I don't know from where, perhaps the cornfields. But David has gone around and he has carried this message forward. Thomas Jefferson, late in his life, was asked about the Declaration of Independence. He was asked why he wrote it. And what he said was, to place before mankind the common sense of the subject in words so clear as to command their assent. That is what David has done on the Property Tax Independence Act, and I am proud and privileged to introduce to you my friend David Baldinger.
Thank you, everyone. Hey, thank you very much, Mark. Was this an outstanding day or what? Yeah! Thank you, everyone, for coming here today, taking the time out of your day to be a citizen lobbyist for property tax independence. I'm going to do something today I don't often do. I'm going to be brief. Normally, I'd stand up here and tell you about all the great things that the Property Tax Independence Act will do. Ensure a brighter educational future for our children. Release families from the chains of an unjust and inequitable property tax. Build Pennsylvania's economy and attract businesses and jobs to Pennsylvania. But you already knew all of that, didn't you? Yeah! I'm here for one reason. To tell you that I am so very proud of all of you who are involved and who have become dedicated activists in the fight to guarantee that this tax will never again have the power to leave anyone homeless. You have worked tirelessly to educate yourselves on this issue so you can be champions for property tax independence and spread the word to others. You've given freely of your time and your treasure to make a better life for all Pennsylvanians. All of you are true patriots. And I know without a doubt that our forefathers would, like me, be proud of you. Give yourselves a round of applause because you deserve it. And since you're giving applause, we need to recognize the lawmakers who are fighting beside us to achieve our common goal. The representatives and senators here today embrace the cause in which we so ardently believe and are fighting shoulder to shoulder with us, sometimes at considerable political risk, to do what is right for Pennsylvanians. They, like you, are heroes in the struggle for property tax independence and deserve our praise and our gratitude. Let's hear it for all of them as well. Again, everyone, thank you for joining us today. Keep going. Keep our ranks growing. Stay strong and never, ever give up.
Some of our representatives have asked to speak, and we're going to start with our House members. If Representative Cox, Representative Rosemary Brown, and Representative Margot Davidson, if you could come forward. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. These rallies are always tough to speak at, and as I was roaming the halls of the House this morning, you can almost get the sense, on some level, that common sense is dead in the halls of the chambers behind me. In fact, I came across an obituary that leads one to believe that common sense is dead. And a young lady by the name of Sandy DePietro is to credit for this. So if you like it, thank her. If you don't like it, blame me because I messed it up. Today we mourn the passing of a beloved old friend, Common Sense. He was with us for many years. No one knows exactly how old he was because his birth records were long ago lost in amongst bureaucratic red tape. Common Sense will be remembered as having cultivated such valuable lessons like knowing when to come in out of the rain, understanding why it is that the early bird in fact does get the worm, and realizing that life isn't always fair. Common Sense lived by long forgotten but simple, sound financial principles like not spending more than you earn. Unfortunately, Common Sense's health began to deteriorate rapidly when some well-intentioned but overbearing school property taxes were put into place. Common Sense passed and is survived only by his 4 ugly stepsisters. House Bill 125, House Bill 1189, House Bill 1677, and House Bill 1685. And while the rumors of Common Sense's death are out there, I'm here to tell you, they're not true. Common Sense stands right here in front of me. Common Sense is what it takes for people like you to balance your budgets, for people like you to understand that you can't spend more than you make, that you can't continue to tax taxpayers that don't have any more left to give. Common Sense is right here on the steps of the Capitol, and our job today is to get it through the doors of the Capitol and then into each of the chambers. I can't do it without you. The people behind me can't do it without you. I'm done talking, and now it's time to hear from some of the others that have long wanted to talk about this issue. I appreciate you coming out today. Please don't forget why you're here. You're here to bring additional co-sponsors onto House Bill 76, additional co-sponsors onto Senate Bill 76. Through your passion, your reason, and your rationale, they can see that this bill is something that doesn't need to be sidelined any further. It needs to be moved out of the Finance Committee in the House and the Senate and to the floor. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming to the Capitol today to show your support for the need to change how we fund our schools. I'm State Representative Rosemary Brown, and I want to especially thank the people of Monroe and Pike counties who are here today. Where are you, my Monroe and Pike County people? Thank you. Thank you, because we have an extreme need to change our system and the way we fund our schools. The fact of the matter is there are many areas of our state that have unsustainable school property tax rates that are destroying our communities and our way of life. Changing to a system that does not base your school tax on the real estate value of your home would infuse dollars into the economy, encourage home improvements, and stabilize our family environment and local communities. And as David said, you all know that already. So I'm just repeating something that you already know. However, as we discuss the funding directly involved to education, let's not ignore a very important factor. I believe an important piece to remember is the stability of the home environment and the role that that plays on our children, their concentration, their education, and ultimately their overall well-being and their family life. Teachers will tell you that parental involvement and the home play a crucial role in child development. We cannot forget that by causing severe taxation on a family to own their home can cause both stress and emotional turmoil in a house, tearing apart the family unit as taxation becomes unsustainable and unfair. Even rents become unsustainable and unreasonable as the taxation is passed on from the landlords to the renters. The American dream of owning your home is being destroyed. As one of the highest areas of foreclosures in the state, in Monroe County, our current system dictates that you never really own your home. The government owns it. I don't believe that $8,000 to $20,000 a year in school taxes is a reasonable taxation at all. Thank you. For these reasons, I strongly support moving House Bill 76 along in the process and changing how we fund our schools. I thank you all for being here today and showing my colleagues in the House and in the Senate the importance of this issue, not only in my district, but across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So thank you all. God bless you all, and safe travels. Thank you.
Representative Davidson had wanted to speak, and there are other commitments. We understand that. We're very thankful for the legislators who have come out. So we're going to move on to our Senate representation. Senator Argel. Senator Fulmer. Senator Schwank. Senator Baker. Senator Brewster. And Senator Boscola.
You don't know how good it feels to stand over there and watch this today. There's just so much energy and so much, I think, devotion to a truly worthy cause. Senator Baker is covering for me at another meeting inside my neighbor to the north, and we were talking about the fact that, if this legislative session was a basketball game, we'd be at about the beginning of the second quarter. And we've put up some serious points on the board with all of your help. More than 90 co-sponsors in the House, when last year we only had 60. "23 senators, when last year we only had 13. We got another one today, all right. Somebody got us number 24. I can't wait to find out who. And that's what we need from all of you. We need 26 solid votes in the Senate. We need 102 votes in the House. And then we can all gather together and watch the governor turn this idea into a law. Think about this. The way that we fund our public schools today is based on an unfair model from the 1830s. How big is your house? When was it last reassessed? When was it last spot reassessed? Did you color your windows? I mean, that's nuts. And that's the way we fund our public schools. I suspect Senator Fulmer will give you the constitutional reasons on why the current system is nuts. I'm just going to give you the basics. Thank you so much for what you've done. As has been indicated earlier, don't give up yet. We have never been this close, but we still have a way to go. Thanks again for coming out.
I'm next. I'm sorry. Hey, I was so excited talking to Dave. We got to wake up right now. What do we want? Elimination! That was not good enough. What do we want? Elimination! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Elimination! When do we want it? Now! Listen, I'm going to be really short because so much was said and so much more needs to be said. And I'm just going to quote from our Declaration of Rights in our state constitution. And I'm going to read to you real quick. It says, all men are born equally free and independent and have certain inherent and indefeasible rights, among which are those of enjoying and defending life and liberty, of acquiring, possessing, protecting property and reputation, and pursuing their own happiness. How in the world can we protect and possess our property if we're only paying rent to our school districts? Because basically that's what we're doing. I had a new roof put on my home. I was going to send the bill to my school district because they're my landlord, but I don't think they would have taken it. My point is, I want to thank you all for being here, and I just want to give you one more word of encouragement. This has been such a bipartisan effort. We actually created the Purple Caucus, and Senator Boscola actually got the memo and wore the colors today to represent the Purple Caucus. There's so much work that has been going on behind the scenes that you haven't seen, that I've never seen before in this Capitol. And I just want to thank all the legislators, both in the House and in the Senate, for being here. I needed you to know that because, you know, it gets kind of depressing sometimes, doesn't it, when you go out and want to have your voice heard. Well, we're hearing it, and we are real close. God bless you all, and let's continue to fight, and thank you so much for being here.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm State Senator Judy Schwenk. I represent the 11th District of Pennsylvania, Berks County, the heart of Berks County, the home of property tax elimination, and the revolt, truly a revolt, and a groundswell of people who get it, that this is just not the right way to fund education. We realize education is important, but there's got to be a better way. We found the better way. Now we have to fight for it. You know what's unique about this? Look around you. You don't just see Republicans. You don't just see Democrats. We reflect you here in the legislature because we're all behind this. We all understand, those of us that have signed on, how important this is. And it's not just an issue for seniors, and it's not just an issue for young people. This is a burden that's hindering our economy overall. You know, like other legislators, I go home and I go back to my district and I meet with my constituents a lot. We have an awful lot of people who come in our office. It's not easy to sit across from a senior who comes in for their property tax rebate, and you know that check is not enough. That these are people that are making the decision as to whether they're going to fill their prescription drugs, get that done for their whatever illness they may have, or pay their property tax. That breaks my heart. I see young people like my children, who are struggling to buy a house, looking at the selling price of a house, and when you add the taxes on top of it, they just can't do it. They want to get established in a community. In fact, that's what builds our community. The American dream of owning your own home cannot be just taken away from us. We can't let that go. Can't let it go. And you've got to hold on to that. You've got to continue to do the work that you're doing, to talk to representatives, to talk to senators, talk to your neighbors, because a lot of you we've seen a lot of times, but we need to see some new faces too, and some people who have said, you know, and I hear this too, and whenever I try to talk to somebody about it, Judy, we've been talking about this for 30 years. Well, this time it's different. This time it's different. We've gotten further than we ever have before. But we need your help to keep going, guys. Let's get it going. We need property tax relief, elimination, and we need it now. Onward.
Hey, Senator Brewster.
Jim Brewster, 45th District, Allegheny County, Westmoreland County. Anybody here from Allegheny County? Representative Sacone's here. Our good partner from Elizabeth Township. You've heard an awful lot of discussion. I want to use Senator Argo's analogy with the basketball. We're in the second quarter, but with all of you here, we just inserted LeBron James into the game. So it's going to get a lot better for us, trust me. You know, 3 years ago, I was the mayor of McKeesport, and I was minding my own business, and I did such a good job, they demoted me, made me a senator. And when I got here, I recognized that there are a number of failures that we make in this building, all of us. And I want to harken back to something that happened several years ago as an analogy. Representative Markosik wanted to go to Washington and toll I-80 to generate revenue. Now, just so you know, 80% of the traffic were out-of-staters. They would have paid their fair share to come through our state. The feds said no. Now we have to wrestle with a transportation bill that we know we need in Pennsylvania. We don't know how we're going to get there. But we don't want to miss an opportunity with this bill. We know it's the right thing to do. And I want to give you just a brief perspective as mayor. Two perspectives. My mother called me. JB, can you come up and see me? She's 2 doors away. Now, she paid school taxes to educate me, my 3 daughters, and now my 6 grandchildren. I think that's a long time. So when she showed me her invoice for her school tax, I happened to notice her Social Security check next to it, $800. My father's pension, $600. So she's living on $1,400 a month, and she gets this tax. Now, when you're a son, you look into the sad, tired eyes of your mother and try to find a way to help her keep her dignity and keep her home. So when you do that, and you've all done it with somebody, you know what to do. And as mayor, when I got the phone call saying, Mayor, you went to school with my son, I can't afford to live in my home, I'm moving to Texas with my sister. Well, Mrs. Smith, can't your son help with the house? Oh, didn't you hear? He passed away, Mayor. Think about that. Husband gone, only child gone, living in the Mon Valley, the steel business is gone. She's still getting the same taxes, increased, by the way, that she paid 30, 40, 50 years before that. So when you see these examples, you'll know what to do. Now, I'll remind you of this. And that's a change today. I think we're the 5th largest state in the greatest country on the planet. We're smart enough to figure this out. And I want to thank Senator Argyle, Senator Fulmer, Senator Shank, and my colleagues in the House for taking on this initiative. But I want to close by saying this. One of the reasons I jumped on board was because we know the need. Senator Argyle has made it clear. This is a dollar-for-dollar program, so public schools will not be harmed by this. But what it will do, it will level the field. Everybody gets to pay, not just the people who own property. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. So God bless and thank you very much.
All
right. Hi, everyone. I'm State Senator Lisa Boscola, 18th Senatorial District, Lehigh Valley. Lehigh Valley strong. I am so happy to see you all here today because I remember in 2002 when a lot of you might not have been in the legislature at the time, and that's a good thing because I think that the amount of new members to this legislature has really kicked off this whole thing about eliminating property taxes. I remember a special provision of the Constitution that would allow the legislature to call a special session. I led that effort in 2002, a special session on property tax relief with Governor Schweiker. The man decided not to do much with it, but what we got was a lot of publicity, some knowledge for other lawmakers, and kind of got the ball rolling. Disappointing that nothing was done at that time. Since then, I go around and as senators, you speak everywhere. You talk to groups, senior group, professional groups, and every single time I go somewhere to speak and then I let them ask questions. When are you finally going to do something about elimination of property taxes? Every single time. There is not a single issue in my district that I know of that is not speaked about and talked about so much. And then it's disappointing when you answer the question they ask, Lisa, really, when are we going to see the time come? And it breaks my heart because I look in their faces and they don't believe me anymore. I'm like, look, we're getting there. We only had maybe 5 co-sponsors in 2002. We're up to 24 with Andy Dinniman. Thank you, Andy. Senator Dinniman, just one more. And believe it or not, we've got a game plan. We're going to target some of our senators that we know are open-minded and talk to them, but it's only going to happen with you. With you all out there, never giving up, and constantly keeping up that fight. Let's just keep fighting for elimination of property taxes. I am so convinced it's going to happen. Thank you.
We've come here, as stated, from all walks of life, from all political persuasions. We have 114, now 115 legislators in all that are standing with us on this. And we want to take the time to actually read those names. One name is not on that list, but he was a co-sponsor and he passed away, and we need to recognize Representative Dick Hess as well. The readers that will be reading these names represent a cross-section of the different people that have come on board on this. I've been asked to change the order of this because some of our people have to leave a little early. So we'll be starting with Lynn Ball and George Geiswhite, and they'll be reading the senators' names. George is laughing at me. They'll be reading the senators' names who are the sponsors of this legislation. I just want to give a shout out to George. He's with a group called Eyes on Pennsylvania, who has been doing a great job in helping to communicate email messaging. And this lady here, Lynn Ball, and her organization managed to get 80 people on buses. So they took this filibuster to heart to bring them here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Jim. As far as our 80 bus attendance today, a lot goes to the credit of Mr. Gary Smith, who's going to be a reader for the House Representative support today, too. So when he gets up here, give him a round of applause. From the Senate, I'm very honored to mention these following names. Senator Richard Alloway, Senator David Argyle,
Yes. Thank you.
Senator Lisa Baker,
Thank you.
Senator Lisa Boscola, who we just heard from, Senator James Brewster, Senator Patrick Brown, Senator John Eichelberger, Senator Edwin Erickson, Senator Jim Furlow, Senator Mike Fulmer, who we all know, Senator Wayne Fontana. Now over to George. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll start off with Senator Richard Kucinich. Senator Bob Minich.
Yay!
Senator John Rafferty.
Yay!
Senator Judith Swank.
Yay!
Senator Lloyd Smucker.
Yay, Lloyd!
Senator Timothy, Sullivan. Senator Kim Ward.
Yay, Kim!
Senator Michael Wall.
Hey, Mike!
Senator Donald White.
Hey, Don!
Senator Sean Wiley.
Hey!
Senator John Wolzenak.
Hey! Juan! Hey, Juan!
Senator John, here we go, Udiak. Sorry about that.
Reading for the House members. You may see this little sign down here that's in front of us. A lady who led that effort and came up with that will be our first reader, Sharon Pollard. The next reader will be John McCartney. John drives around in a pickup truck with a 3x5 Property Tax Independence Act banner attached to the top of that truck. It's an amazing truck. Semper Fi, you got it. Vaughn Andring will read after him. Vaughn Andring is, she's launched a web page that if our representatives aren't aware of, they need to know about. It's called Heroes for Homeowners, to recognize these sponsoring legislators. Wow. So it's a tremendous webpage. She's also done some pretty phenomenal pieces of graphic that have gotten some pretty good mileage for us. Terry Sinclair, the flag. Thank you, Terry. Lucy Kowitz, is she here? Where's Lucy? There she is. Come on, Lucy. Lucy's one of my Facebook buddies. Facebook. Whoa. Steve Trainer. Steve Trainer, every time I show up at a meeting to speak, and every time David shows up to a meeting to speak, there's Steve Trainer. Steve Trainer, he's been around. He's been out there with us. And then Rich Martino. Rich Martino, he'll be reading. He's from Daniel Boone Taxpayers Association. They launched a email initiative that was absolutely amazing, making it very easy to contact our legislators. And the final reader will be Gary Evans Smith. And as Lynn Ball said, he was also part of the initiative that got 80 people on buses and brought them here. So I'm deeply indebted to both of them. Let me get you your list up here. I got my page. Okay.
gives me great pleasure to mention the following representatives who have signed on as co-sponsors to House Bill number 76. Representative Dom Costa.
Yes.
Representative Jim Cox. Linda Schlegel Culver. Representative Brian Cutler.
Hey, Brian.
My representative. Representative Margot Davidson. Representative Tina Davis.
Yes.
Representative Gordon Denlinger.
Yay.
Representative Brian Ellis.
Yay.
And Representative Garth Everett.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's such an honor to be here today. It's just a beautiful day to show your patriotism and what this country is about. And I really want to thank these representatives from the bottom of our hearts. You are everything to us. Without you, we could not get this done. So I want to honor these representatives. Representative Mike Rizzo. Representative Ryan Alment. Representative Brian Barbin. Did I get that right? Representative Stephen Balbar. Representative Ryan Bizzarro. Representative Stephen Bloom. Representative Karen Boback. Representative Rosemary Brown. Yes. Representative Mike Carroll. Representative Jim Christiana. Representative Paul Clymer. And Representative Scott Conklin. You are my heroes. Thank you.
Very proud to read the following names. Representative Flo Fabrizio. Representative Frank Farina. Representative Mindy Fee. Representative Mike Fleck. Representative Marty Flynn. Representative John Galloway. Representative Mark Gergley. Representative Jarrett Gibbons. Representative Mark Gillen. Representative Keith Gillespie. And Representative Robert Godshall.
Good afternoon. My name is Terry Sinclair. I've been involved with the PTCC group for quite a few years. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today with these fine, excellent senators and representatives for what they've done. They've put their necks out. They've gone against the status quo, sometimes at the demise of their own careers, and I just want to say we do appreciate that very, very much. I'm honored to thank Representative Neil Goodman, Representative Joseph Hackett, Representative Marcia Hahn, Representative Gary Haluska, Representative Patrick Harkins, Representative C. Adam Harris, Representative Doyle Heffley, Representative Susan Helm, Representative Tim Hennessy, Representative David Hickernill, Representative Rob Kaufman, and last but not least, before I read his name, I wanted to say something briefly. As a former deputy sheriff, having served countless numbers of property tax foreclosure and eviction notices, one of the common things I often heard from the elderly was, "I hope I live long enough to see this passed." Well, last but not least, and having had a conversation about that same exact issue, Representative Dick Hess, who passed away on September 6, 2013, he said to me in one of my phone conversations, "Geez, Terry, I hope I live long enough to see this pass." So I ask and beg of our House and Senate to please get this passed this fall session 2013. House Bill, Senate Bill 76. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lucy Kahowitz, and I came from Monroe County, Pike County bus tour today. Yay, everybody, where are you? I can't say it any better than what everyone else has said today, other than the fact that I am so very proud of everyone who has sent emails, text messages, phone calls, called their legislators, and God bless the legislators' staff. They are saints. But thank them all for listening to us and finally understanding that this is what we need first and foremost in the Commonwealth. And with that, all I'd like to say is that I'm honored to name the following representatives. Representative Sid Michael Kavulik. I believe he went to school with my husband. Representative Mark Keller. Representative Thomas Killian. Representative Thaddeus Kirkland. Representative Jerry Knowles. Representative William Quartz. Representative Timothy Krieger. Representative Deborah Kula. Representative John Lawrence. Representative Gregory Lucas. And Representative John Mayer. Thank you.
I, Steve Trainer, Palmerton, Pennsylvania, Carbon County. It's an honor to be up here to mention 11 more of these heroes. Their names: Representative Tim Mahoney, Representative David Maloney, Representative Ron Marcisco, Representative Kurt Masser, Representative Robert Matsey, Representative Michael McGeehan, Representative Daniel McNeil, Representative Stephen Metzger, Representative Nicholas Miccarelli, Representative Nicholas McCosey, Representative Ron Miller. I'd like to say thank you to all the heroes, and we need elimination now.
Hi, I'm Rich Martino from the Daniel Boone Taxpayer Activist. I only mention that because Daniel Boone School District is one of the only school districts in the state that has not raised school taxes in 3 of the last 4 years, and our taxes are still too damn high. I want to say one more thing before I mention the representatives that have supported us, and that's that the people here, thank you for coming, and just remember, this is not about us. This is about every resident of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Every one of them. So it gives me pleasure to thank Representative Tom Calder-Jerome, Representative Rick Mirabito, Representative J.P. Miranda, Representative Dan Mall, Representative Gerald Mullery, Representative Ed Nielsen, Representative Mark Painter, Representative Dave Reed, Representative Mike Reese, Representative Mike Reagan, and Representative Todd Rock. Thank you all very much.
Well, I would like to thank Rosemary Brown for the best speech she's ever made. fact, I may even give her a little kiss. And I would also like to thank in particular, well, Mary Oscovello, who's going to be hopefully our next state senator.
Yeah, Mario.
But also Professor Bob Williams, who is back there in a wheelchair and really wanted to speak today. He's a World War II veteran. He made the trip in our bus from Monroe County. He's terrific. Now, I don't know where my names are up here, so I copied off the list. We would like to thank and recognize Representative Rick Saccone, Representative Stan Saylor, Representative Mario Scavello, Representative Justin Simmons, Representative Jerry Stern, Representative Rosemarie Swanger, Representative Will Tolman, Representative Mike Kobash, Representative Marcy Topol, Representative Dan Truitt, Representative Mike Vereb, and Representative Rosita Youngblood. They're my heroes too, along with Bob Williams.
No? Do you want to speak? Yes.
And they skipped mine. There was a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I'm always after Toby.
Mike Rizzo. Okay, just a clarification. Come here. This is Representative Mark Rossi. Our readers, they did a phenomenal job, but we had a little miscommunication there. This is not Mike Rizzo.
Would you? Yeah, I would like to say something. You know, I'm a freshman, and going door to door, you know, the biggest thing I heard from my seniors were, you know, Mark, I'm out of savings. What am I going to do? I go to the next door. I'm out of savings, and I had to take out a line of credit to pay my school property taxes. I go to the next door. I'm out of savings. My line of credit is almost finished. I have about this year to pay my school property taxes, and then I'm out of money. This is something that is simply not fair.
Amen.
Right.
And I think one thing that we're missing here also is, you know, we talk about making Pennsylvania a better business state.
Yes.
Well, this is something that would attract businesses to Pennsylvania. So I don't want people to forget about that as well. Thank you.
Another name that was missed in the readings was Representative Tara Toolhill. I will say, you know, our readers are not accustomed to standing up in front of the room, and there was some nervousness about this, about coming up here, and some of the names, particularly Representative Calderon, those types of names, and they were a little nervous about this. So to get them up here in front of everyone to do this, I thank them. Representative Davidson is with us now, and we want to give her the opportunity. Thank you.
How's everybody doing? I'm excited to be here today, and I'm excited to support this legislation. For me, it's a moral imperative. There's only so many times you can have a senior citizen come into your office, literally in tears, talking about the fact that they paid off their mortgage, they've been in their home for 30, 40 years, and now facing the loss of their home due to a tax sheriff sale. How many times can that happen without doing something? And just as important as those seniors are also the children who need their schools funded. And when I talked to Representative Cox, I said one of the things that's important to me is that we get both things done, that we get our schools funded fully and that we get this property tax eliminated. And I thank him for working hard to bring that into being. And so I say to opponents of this bill that we can do in this great Commonwealth more than one thing at a time. We can eliminate property taxes and we can fund our schools. Thank you so much.
I want to thank everybody for coming out today. This has been an amazing day. There have been days that I wake up and I wonder, are we going to get this done? And then I get on Facebook or I open up my email and I begin to hear the voices of these people and the voices of these legislators who are working on a principle. This is more than just about eliminating the property tax. This is about a principle. And it was important enough that education was important enough to us that we made sure that there's mechanisms in here that will properly fund education. Because we do believe the education of our children is the future of this state. But let's not educate them so that they can leave this state and go live somewhere else because they don't want to pay the property taxes. I'm a little tired. It's been a long day, but it's been a rewarding day, and we still have legislative time to go in and do a little bit of lobbying. I want to thank all the legislators who are not yet sponsors, who gave time and gave ear to our people today, this citizen lobbying effort. And I also want to make special mention of that point. As citizen lobbyists, these people paid for their own bus seats. The literature that you see circulating was paid for out of their own pockets. This is not a PAC. This is citizens. And we've come together and we've lobbied. From around the state, we filled buses. Berks County Patriots filled a bus. Lebanon filled a bus. We had buses from Clasta and Lancaster. You've heard from Monroe and Pike. We've had buses coming in from around the state. Other people drove down here. And they did all this on their own. They did this on their dime. And I am so proud to stand in front of everyone here, to stand in front of the legislators, and to stand in front of these people who have worked so hard to bring this far. And I have one more thing to say, and our sponsoring legislators don't need to pay any attention to this whatsoever. It is September, and once again, we've come to Harrisburg. Last year, as we walked these halls, it was overheard that they're like cockroaches no matter where you look. These property tax people are infesting the halls of Capitol. Well, we're back and we brought friends. And we came here for a principle of true property ownership. We came here not so much to be talked at, but to do the talking. I'm hoping that you listened, but I do have this to say to those non-sponsors. You either hear us this September or you fear us in November, because this will be an election issue. We're tired of waiting, telling us that we've been trying to do this for 30 years and we haven't gotten anything accomplished isn't good enough. It's not for lack of will of the people, and certainly not with 114 representatives between the House and the Senate. It's not for lack of legislative support. It's not for lack of those reasons. We can get this done. We will get this done, or we will take this to the ballot box. Thank you, everyone.